welcome here. I'm David Brule, and I am the president of the Nolumbeka Project, and we strive to have this kind of activity. We do have four principal activities during the year. What this is, we consider the Snow Moon event, social dance. Pretty apropos now because we're looking at snow on the way late tonight. We will, our keynote event is in the first weekend of August, where we have the Native American Music Festival with, dozens and dozens of artisans and some great presentations. So keep that in mind. It's all free. It's along the river near the fish ladder at Community Park, Pessionska. So one of the points I'd like to make, I'd like to first of all thank our sponsors. First off is the Greenfield Savings Bank, the Greenfield Cooperative Bank, River Valley Co-op has been a long time staunch supporter of ours, very generous, and have a wonderful philosophy about food, but also making sure that food reaches the people that it should reach at a reasonable cost. We want to also thank the UMass 5 College Credit Union, and especially Antenna Cloud Farm, which has always, again, been part of our sponsors, and who have in the past had events that were, the contributions were made to us from them. One of the really important sponsors are local cultural councils. So in that regard, I want to really remind people that the local cultural council of Burnhamston, Deerfield, Gill, Greenfield, Leiden, Montague, and Shelburne, all of those councils contributed to this event today. So interestingly, as Diane Dix, who is our principal fundraiser, has mentioned, yay for Diane, these towns are the towns that abut this particular beautiful spot in the valley. Diane was able to reach out to more than 40 cultural councils in the past that helped sponsor our video that you can see for free on our website, which is Indigenous Voices in the Connecticut River Valley. Check that out. But Diane beat the bushes and raised an incredible amount of money from 40 cultural councils. It's a wonderful effort, but it's wonderful also that those cultural councils exist and do support the types of things we are doing. This afternoon, the dance will start in a little bit, I'd say in another 30 minutes or so. But I want to point out also that we have an event actually on the internet at 2 o'clock on March 2nd. This is called The Ancient Sea Peoples of the North Atlantic. This is a film by Ken Timmer, who is a cinematographer, documentarian, oftentimes working with the Smithsonian Institute, and has done a tremendous amount of work in this region about cultural stone landscapes and what their significance is. So I'd recommend that if you want to watch that, participate, you should go to the Nolumbeka Project website.org, nolumbekaproject.org, and go to the events page, and you'll be able to sign up to receive that video. It's just kind of a premiere. It has not been distributed yet, but we are doing this in large part to give all of our thanks to Doug Harris, who is a dear friend and supporter of our organization, but also who led the efforts to, let's say, recognize and preserve ceremonial stone landscapes in our region. So check that out, March 2nd at 2 o'clock. There will be a viewing of the ancient sea peoples of the North Atlantic. What is really important is to, when we're gathered here, and as we are told by the elders, this is something that we must do before anything important happens, and that is acknowledging the land, acknowledging the ancestors, and doing this kind of a statement. And so I'd like to share this with you, as has been our tradition, and which is a growing tradition among many organizations in our valley. We have to remember that we're standing on and benefiting from indigenous land. Our homes, our schools, our businesses and churches are built on land that has been and continues to be indigenous homeland. The first people here, the Pakamtuk, the Egwong, Wadik, Nanatuk, Waranoko, they are not gone. Their voices are still here in the air that we breathe. This is still the place where their modern day descendants, the Nipmuc and the Abenaki, joined their Pakamtuk ancestors across fluid lines of time and space. We acknowledge the continued presence, resilience, and sovereignty of the Nipmuc and of the Abenaki. Indeed, the descendants of the Pakamtuk are here among us now. Those descendants have become more diverse as new blended families blossom from historic ones. We are grateful to our ancestors and relatives gathered here across time. In addition to a land acknowledgement, I usually like to flip that little formula and acknowledge the land itself. We know that for indigenous people, the land is animate. We exist within extended kinship with all those inhabiting the land. Human and non-human beings are interconnected with a social and spiritual set of reciprocity. But in addition to acknowledging the land, we also need to acknowledge the beautiful rivers that are part of these indigenous homelands. The Pakamtuk, the Pakampituk, Deerfield River. The Pokamagun is the Green River here in Greenfield. The Bagwag is the Millers River, coming down from very close to Mount Wachusett. The Wanaskatuk, which is the Fall River just below the falls. And of course the long river, the Ponektakut. We have been taught by indigenous elders that at the beginning of any gathering we should draw our minds together to remember to be grateful, thankful for all that we've been given. We give thanks to the four directions. We give thanks for this beautiful day. We give thanks to our ancestors who are here with us now. We give thanks to the last 7 generations and the next 7 generations in whose name we walk the right path and for whom we work every day to provide for their future. We give thanks to all the beautiful feathered and furred beings who accompany us and who are our kinfolk and our teachers. We give thanks to our beautiful flowers, forests, and plains, and the rivers whose waters have sustained us. We do not need to ask for anything. All this has been given to us by the Creator. So, we need to reflect on what are we doing and what shall we do with all that we have been given. I want to end there and introduce the next person who will say a few words, our good friend from the Nolumbeka Abenaki will be Dan Shears. If he can come up and say a few words.
Hello everyone. What I just said to you in my indigenous language of Western Abenaki was hello everyone. It's good to see you. My traditional name is Tok, which roughly translates to someone who searches for knowledge and uses his heart and his gut to guide him. I'd like to welcome everybody to the full snow moon gathering. In Abenaki, February is called Piaondagos, which roughly translates to the branch-breaking moon. Originally, I was going to say we need a little bit more snow for that to happen. I hear we're going to get another storm tomorrow. So, what I brought with me here today is called a snow snake. This is a traditional game that a lot of us play here in the Eastern United States, New England. This one is made a little bit thicker than what it was traditionally. But normally you go out into the woods and create a track in the snow and then drag a log down it so it would have a nice dip in it. And we actually would throw these snakes down that track. And whoever threw it the furthest won. So this is just a traditional game I thought I would share with everybody today. We have lots of honored guests here today. Friends of mine from the Wampanoag Nation I haven't seen in a few years, so it was nice to see you guys. This is a social. Everybody, you're welcome to come up to us, ask us as many questions as you want. This is a good time that we're supposed to have here today, so I hope everybody goes home learning something today about Indigenous cultures. Oh, thank you very much.
So before we get to our keynote speaker, I'd like to ask Sarah Matthews if she is here to come up and say a few words about the Western Massachusetts rights of nature. Sarah, by the way, gave a great speech last night at our discussion about the river watersheds. So here's Sarah Matthews.
I'm a co-founder of Western Mass Rights of Nature. We founded it a couple of years ago. It's part of the global rights of nature movement, which is aimed at reforming Western-based laws and legal systems to recognize the inherent rights of natural systems like the Connecticut River to thrive and flourish and evolve. We've been taken up, a lot of our time has been taken up trying as best as we can to advocate for the river in the current relicensing of the Turner's Falls Dam and Northfield Pump storage facilities, which do incredible damage to the ecosystem. And I urge you guys to get involved. We've got a table with a lot of information back there. Most recently, the ironically named Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection issued a draft water quality certificate. It's a permit that's required in order for First Light to get its new licenses. And it's the state of Massachusetts is the one that enforces the Clean Water Act. But instead of taking into consideration all of the comments and really the pleas, probably many of you here begging them to add protections for the river, they did none of that, including dismissing recent eDNA evidence of sturgeon living above the dam in the area where those turbines just suck everything to its death, and recent strandings below the dam, in the dewatered areas below the dam. And I just want to point out one other thing. This is where politics mixes, and that is that one of the license provisions that First Light is now poised to receive enables them to increase the storage capacity to use about 25% more storage capacity, more generating of Northfield. And if that happens, they'll be pumping 24 hours a day with no rest for the river, which is even more devastation. And there's no mention of any guardrails on them doing that. And that combined with the climate law that was just passed at the end of last year, under the climate law, Massachusetts is obligated to enter into long-term, like 15-year contracts to purchase energy storage. That's our taxpayer money going to buy energy storage. So we could be faced with a situation where our taxpayer money is going to make First Light richer because they're going to be able to pump even more. And we're trying to stop that. Joe Comerford, our local state senator, has introduced legislation that would try to make that not happen. And we've got some information back there. Anyway, that's a lot of, we're just asking you to, make your voices heard. There's a public meeting coming up. And there's also, if you go on Connecticut River Conservancy's website, there's some meetings scheduled with them so you can learn how to make comments. And, all right, I'll stop talking now. Thank you so much.
To add to the comments that Sarah just shared, there is a coalition of tribes and Nolumbeka Project. So Liz Goldwyn Santana Kaiser has been part of this partnership coalition, as has Rich Holshoe of the Elder Abenaki and the Nolumbeka Project, headed by Joe Gravlin and myself. We have literally for the past 12 years been providing FERC with information about protecting Native American cultural resources that are being lost because of the erosion that's happening, as well as the damage being done by the wildly fluctuating flows, the rise and fall almost daily by about 4 feet of the river and the damage that it's doing. And our efforts have received over 12 years no response. And it's been a real challenge, and we are continuing the fight, but it takes time and it takes a lot of effort to keep sending out information to FERC and to First Light, and it's incredibly discouraging to get no response and no positive action. So just so that you know, there is a tribal coalition fighting along with the Western Mass Rights of Nature and the Connecticut River Conservancy to restore and maintain the health of the river. And it has not been easy, and it has been very frustrating, but we'll keep plugging away. Speaking of which, I think Rebecca Todd of the Connecticut River Conservancy is here, and I think it'd be great if she could say a few words. Unless I'm mistaken, I think she's somewhere in the area. Is Rebecca here? If she's not, perhaps the representative from the Connecticut River Conservancy? No, I don't see anyone coming forward. Yes. Okay, we do have a Connecticut River Conservancy person. Thank you.
Hi folks, my name is Amanda. I work at the Connecticut River Conservancy as the Outreach and Events Coordinator. I am honored to be here with you all today and really enjoyed the event last night as well. CRC advocates for restoring clean water, healthy habitats, and resilient communities along our Connecticut River watershed from source to sea. It was mentioned by Sarah that we have an event coming up this week on Wednesday, February 12th, to talk about the 401 water quality certification and kind of learn a little bit more about that process and how we can engage and use our voice to let the state know where we're at with this process. So please think about attending. It's just right here in Greenfield at our headquarter office on 15 Bank Row. And come chat with me about other ways that we can get involved and engage with our watershed. Thank you all for being here.
So as I was saying, we had a tremendous meeting last night, and people were very adamant about doing something about the pump storage project, but there are a lot of us, but we have many voices that are kind of not all that organized. People are, there are some groups that are working to break through to FERC. Unfortunately, we've been ignored, as I said before. So keep that in mind. And what one of the themes was that Hartman Deep stressed last night is that we have to keep plugging away. We have to keep submitting our comments, keep insisting that they pay attention to Indigenous voices, but also to the common, regular people who live along the river, that it is a public resource. And if you think about it, what's happening is that that public resource is being totally channeled, turned into very expensive electricity, and then they are selling it to us. And so it's kind of a very ironic situation. I have heard from people out west saying this would not stand in other parts of the country. So we really have to stand up against what's happening to us. The 50-year license is coming up very, very soon, and the company has been operating without a license, actually under the conditions of a 1950s license, which is totally obsolete. Anyway, this wasn't intended to be a political statement, but I just do want people to keep in mind, or at least follow what's going on. At this point, I'd like to introduce a really good friend from the Chippewa band of Nipmuc Indians, who will talk a bit about his community and the cultural revival that he is leading in terms of his hunt and fishing club. So I'm going to turn it over to Jose Little Arrow Ite Santana.
Hello, folks. Hello, folks. I'm actually very honored to be here. Keynote speakers, nice honor, something that pretty new to me. I'm very excited about all things that everyone's doing with the Connecticut River, and hopefully that we will become a part of some of that work as we move forward. In particular, the hunting, fishing, and Nolumbeka band and Nipmuc Indians, because it's important to us to come back to this area and to bring back life to that river in whatever way possible. It's all about work, it's all about dedication, and that's what we're all about. I should have started off with Kikwa, which is good afternoon in Nipmuc, and I'm here to talk a little bit about myself, my family, and what I'm trying to do as far as revitalization for the tribe, hunting, fishing, and stewarding land and working with groups and organizations such as yours. So I sort of entitled my presentation here as relationships, because I think relationships are important. We're all here, and there's relationships between all of us in some way or another. I think it would be very interesting to be able to continue my work with you guys and build on my personal relationships, our relationships, and the history and future of our tribe. Can you give me 1 second here? I should have actually pulled out my piece of paperwork here, but I didn't do that, and I got this picture out of my notes. I like to speak. I kind of wrote a little bit of notes, just to keep myself level-headed here, and that's okay if I don't have that. So first of all, I just want to say thank you to the Nolumbeka organization and for everything that you guys have been doing up here, bringing these types of events together. The Wampanoag tribe and Wampanoag people, the Abenaki people, who I intend to fully build up a relationship with a little bit more as we go along. I'd like to thank my family and my mother for being here to support me on this. Land trust organizations, Nipmuc organizations that have been doing a lot of work, and all you people deserve a lot of praise for the relationships that we built. I will go on. Let me see. Yeah. So I'm sorry. I'll start off a little bit just about myself, my background growing up being Native. A lot of people think that Native people were, very, whatever it is that they think about. But I just want the folks here to understand that I always grew up and we always knew we were Native. It was practiced in my family. My mother stressed it, my grandmother, my great-grandmother. And here's just a picture of just, my great-grandmother and me and my sister as we were graduating from college. And then just pictures of me. I had to bring that one up just so everybody can laugh, but that's me on the left with the little fake tomahawk at the Hass Municipal Reservation when I was a real little kid. And that's my beautiful mother there, Liz Colvin, who many of you know here already. Just the memories of these, of growing up and being Native has always been something that's not forced, it's just something that we were and we've always been there. I just like to just let my mother know, in particular, she's always been a very good mentor to me personally, and she brought me back into work in the tribe a lot, and becoming a council member, working with everybody. My two uncles, my mother's brothers, were medicine men in the tribe, and I remember them as a real young kid, always fishing and hunting and everything like that. Unfortunately, I didn't get to do as much with them as I should have. And that's one of the regrets. So do what you can with the people when you can, because time is not promised. And that's just the point I'd like to make. I'd also like to just thank my father, Clark. He's not here today, he's homesick. But my father, Clark, has always been there by my side, by my mother's side, and working really hard and helping my mother and youth in general, just bringing people together and helping communities that are impoverished. And just a lot of people may not know this, but I don't know, 40 years ago, 30 years ago, my mother and father were able to open up with Nolumbeka Medical Center, a dental center and a medical clinic that had the blessings of Little Crow and the Nolumbeka and Nolumbeka tribe. And it didn't last very long, just political reasons, whatever reasons. But these are the types of things that we are now in the forefront, bringing back and being able to really, hopefully, do this again and bring this back up for our people. I also would just like to give a few personal mentions to some of the personal mentors and inspirations to me throughout through my revival of becoming involved. I'd have to say this picture says a lot with Dave Tallpine, Larry, Little Crow Henrys, myself, Andre, and these guys were always there for me, just so we know. I'd also just like to talk about these family relationships of always being Native. Like I've told you, I've always been Native. My kids have grown up Native. They know who they are. It's not like a joke, or anything like that. Not that anybody thinks that, but it just, some people may not realize how serious this is to a lot of people. Our identity is very serious. These relations have extended through, have been grown for me personally over the past few years with the relationships with all these people that I work with, all these tribal members, young guys here that are doing a lot of hard work. My kids are doing amazing work in school. There is a cultural aspect, but there's also a real world aspect of being Native, where we need to work and be able to do things to, live a healthy and good life. My relationships with everybody has really grown over the past few years, and I've really become involved with a lot of things that are going on in the nation. Through my mother's mentorship, I actually came back to working with the council, joining the council. I've always been too busy, I'm too young, I was always had an excuse. But she's got me involved, and that's where I am today. But I also like to just bring up a little bit about my relations with other people, because you guys are all very important. Everybody here is important for what they do. I have a lot of tribal relations. I have to give a lot of the credit for what I do with the Cultural Hunt and Fish Club to my brothers down in Nashville. I've really learned a lot from them guys. They've been a real inspiration to me, and they've taught me a lot. I went to UMass in 1987. I met Jason Snyder, who's their natural resource director, and we've been best friends ever since. His father and his family are like a family to me. And so I just think that it's important that tribal relations are known. We also want to talk about just allies and friends such as yourselves. Well, many of you here. Personally, some of my particular people here, I work with the Norcross Foundation, Mount Grace, Nolumbeka, Harvard Forest, Western Mass Lands, Reparations Collective, as well as, I meant to say, the Connecticut River Defenders, and who my mom works with, and several other organizations here that just seem to be doing wonderful work because we have a lot of work to do, apparently. I have some goals that I'd like to see happen on the river. And I'd also like to, be able to bring back some tribal, sense of tribalness to the area, just to bring it back because we need it. And we need it as part of our food sovereignty. We need it as part of learning the culture of what it was that they did here, which has been lost in time. And also just, through these relationships that I keep talking about, there's just collaboration, culture sharing, and through the past couple of years I've been able to actually hold a couple of events. One of them I started gratefully through a grant from Harvard Forest was I started an ice fishing event, which hadn't been done in my country in a long time as an official tribal sanctioned event. And it was very successful, we had a lot of fun, and we're doing it one again this year. And we do it at Norcross Foundation, and they've been really a great ally and a great resource for us to work together with. But collaborations here with David and Diane and Nolumbeka, our own powwow, which we have every year. These things are really good, and I just appreciate the collaborations that we do and the culture sharing that we actually have. And I think going forward, I want to strengthen my relationships. Here's my two wonderful kids right here. I'm sure they're happy to see this picture. But so this year with the Cultural Hunt and Fish Club, I intend on, devoting more time to this because I'm going to have a little more time on my hands. There's a lot of reasons why, but it's by choice. I need to be able to devote more time to this. I need to build, some of my goals, is to build my relationship with Abenaki, and particularly in this area. Just because I think we can collaborate with the Connecticut River Defenders and the Connecticut River, all the people that are working on the Connecticut River, to bring an indigenous presence and aspect to some of the work that you guys are doing, the wonderful work that you're doing. We definitely plan to continue our work with Nolumbeka. Nolumbeka's been working with my mother for several years, and David Talpine, who's no longer with us, but you guys have created really something special. Some of my goals are, land stewardship, forestry, organizing food plots, organized hunts, which we've done a little bit this year. I've got some of the young guys in there with training and ceremonial lodges. We just got a lot of work to do. But these are some of my goals. They're lofty, some of them are very simple, but they're things that need to be done. So through all of this, I guess I just would say as I was looking around me, I saw all types of work going on. People doing things and cultural art classes, and I had to figure out what it was that I could do. What were we missing? What could I do that we were missing? And I actually, I'm sorry, I jump around on my slides a little bit, but I thought about what it is that I can do, and I started hunting and fishing. I mean, this is literally what I do. I love to do it. My wife will tell you. I love to go off hunting and fishing, and I just really wanted to give a shout out to this guy right here. He's a master Wampanoag guy, Harry Hicks, and he's like a father to me, second father to me. Even to this day, his son, his daughters, we're like brothers and sisters, and he's really been a mentor and showing me how to bringing us all along. I like to point to the picture down here on the bottom of the left, where he's barking orders at us because that's what he did. We could never get away with anything. Me and him dragging there, and he's a little sick now. So if you guys could say a little prayer for him, that would be great. But I just wanted to give him a special shout out. So through all this, as I said, I decided that hunting and fishing was where I could help. We have food sovereignty initiatives, we have land stewardship initiatives, we have initiatives that we need to make sure that we're ready for the climate change that's upon us. We have to be ready to be self-sufficient. We have to be able to teach and let these young kids see and know that there is something that we can do to bring back and work, just get our knowledge back up to par. Some of it's been lost, but a lot of it's being refound and it's being retaught now. And there's a lot of help that's going on with this that is very important and it's very appreciated. So through this Nipmuc Cultural Hunt and Fish Club, I've been trying to sponsor, like I was saying, just do some ice fishing, trainings, just whatever it is I can do. And you know, over the first couple of years that I've been doing it, I realized there are a lot of roadblocks, money, equipment, things that people don't necessarily have, understand, or even know how to use. So to begin training kids how to use this stuff, how to climb a tree safely, how to find deer, how to fish, how to tie a fishing knot. You know, just prohibitive costs are always associated with these things. And I've been able to, and I'm sorry I'm scrolling through this because I do talk about that a little bit more on some of the challenges that it is that I found, because you know I initially walked into this because I know how to do it. I have some equipment, but then I realized, hey, I got 3 kids here that never shot a bow, or don't have a gun license, or don't know how to hunt the deer, no orange jackets, you know, whatever it is. I found that it was something that I needed to concentrate on, and I did. I started working on that through some hunter safety training, bringing in kids, bringing in the Nipmuc kids, and you know, showing them how to do these little basic things that I've always taken for granted, and that come over time. You know, these things don't happen overnight. It comes with time and just knowledge of how to do this stuff. Another thing I've done is, you know, is like just simple things like maple tree tapping. These are simple things that you need people to show you how to do in order to do it. Target practice, shooting bows. But my goal was to always teach. And there's my mother. I don't think she was really doing anything there, guys. Honestly, but she did. But you know, so I've had people come out to my house. I've gone to trainings at places. I've even gotten into like beekeeping because it's something that's going to be important. I have kept bees at my house now for a couple of years. I'm not very good. I haven't gotten any honey yet because I kind of let the bees be. No pun intended or anything, but I just let them be. But you know, I think I've actually gifted beehives to our farms. We have a couple of farms. We've had reservations where I just put beehives out there, and bees and you know, yes, eventually we will learn to. There are people who do honey and everything, but this was just to pollinate our plants, just to get our plants growing and my gardens looking better. My particular yard itself has never looked better, just because I introduced bees. But these things are very simple, but people need to know this. This year, with Andre and Nolumbeka Braids and the Nolumbeka band and the Nipmucs, and even with the Haspenisko band, we did a reservation cleanup out in our west where a bunch of the land trust came in. And we really gave it a spruce up because our reservation was not looking, we realized that we had been neglecting some of the important things that we need to pay more attention to. And we are bringing these things back in a healthy way. The reservation cleanup was just held over a weekend while we burned the machine that we actually, more so the young guys here burned the machine. Them 2 young guys right there, you guys can raise your hand because they spent the weekend, I supported them in every way I can. Unfortunately, I got a real job that I got to go to every day. But they spent a lot of time out there learning and doing these things, and reservation has never looked better. We had a lot of community input, a lot of networks came out, a lot of land trusts came out, a lot of people came out in relationship with us to help do this. Then we, so this is just more of the cleanup, and and by the time it was all said and done, you can see we really gave the place a facelift, and we definitely intend on continuing that type of work, just because we need these spaces to. And as we acquire new spaces, hopefully we do, we'll be able to have an understanding of how we have to take care of these spaces. Another thing the club has done, and was we've done a lot of hunting. I do a lot of hunting rabbits, I do a lot of hunting deer, and we've been learning how to process food. There's some state programs, and there's also just my own indigenous working with cutting up deer for the past 40 years. But filleting fish, rabbits, and just making it into food, bringing it to the plate, so people can eat it and see that because it kind of looks disgusting at first or whatever, people don't understand. But when it's all said and done, you get some really good stuff, and stuff that's meant for your survival. I intend on doing seasonal fishing whenever possible. I have some pretty lofty plans to maybe try to work with some of the native tribes in upstate New York and things like that, do some salmon fishing. I'm working with my friends down the Cape doing quahog fishing and maybe even striper fishing, blue fishing, shell fishing, things of that nature, whatever it is that we do. But I am trying to bring in, it's not something that you can always do with a whole ton of people, but when you get 1 or 2 kids involved, it really makes a difference, and you can see that this is something that they're going to keep and they're going to understand. A small game hunting program, I've taken a couple guys out already. I've been doing this for a long time. As a matter of fact, I just was out in Nantucket last weekend doing rabbit hunts. We hunt with beagles. The beagles are awesome. We have a great time. It's the camaraderie, it's the food, it's the knowledge that all fits into how this all works out. This year, again, I'm back onto I realized that a lot of people didn't have hunting licenses and couldn't even carry a gun, especially all the young kids. So I was able to work with the Paxton Police Department and Norcross Wildlife Foundation to get a certified instructor to come out and actually teach us a class. And we intend on doing a little bit more of that this year. With the ambiguous gun laws, though, and the hunting laws these days, though, there's a lot of misunderstandings on what it actually takes to get a hunting license these days. I'm hearing there's all kinds of changes done in the pipeline, and but we're working on that to make sure that we're able to legally carry weapons to be able to hunt and fish and unhunt in particular. And then I just this slide is a little wordy, but it's just basically my idea is that I've been thinking just low-hanging fruit, which is one of the things that I like to call it, is simple things like beehives, planting groves, native species. How do we bring some of that stuff back? Food plots, animal plots, cleaning up places. So these are some of the things that I will be working on personally, with hopefully with the youth that I have, because they really look forward to doing these things. And this isn't just about youth as well. Elders and the next generations, and honoring the past is also very important to me. So we have to make sure that we do that. I think I touched on this a little bit, but I realized that basic costs for equipment, training and safety, ice fishing, these things are very prohibitive to a lot of people to really get into something that they're not sure if they're gonna like or if they're gonna really want to do. So through the Hunting and Fishing Club, I've been able to secure some donated equipment and some equipment that we now have in our arsenal to be able to share with the tribe. So when we have these exhibition events or these hunting events, I'm able to supply some tree stands so we can actually set up people to and teach them proper use of this equipment. Dig holes in the ice, how to walk on the ice safely, and we have all the equipment, everything that we need to do this. I'm building this inventory so I can keep doing that. And it's getting used. So some of the needs that we always will have is we always need equipment, gently used, whatever. So I've had a few people that have been donating this equipment, use bow and arrows, because some of these things are very specific that a lot of people might not realize. When you're hunting with a bow is really a very specific piece of equipment that's geared and designed towards the hunter himself. And they have to have these things fitted, restrung, and fixed up so that it's their draw length, it's not too heavy, not too strong. But again, these are things that I've come to realize that I've always taken for granted because I'm just doing it for myself, and now I'm doing it for a bunch of people. Trading, inventory control, so this is a whole list of things that I'm gonna be taking care of this year. And hopefully, we will continue this. And so why do we do it? And I just want to say, because the generations of our people, and this just isn't Nipmuc people, this is all people. I've been able to take my kids out, I've been able to hunt with kids, raise dogs, do all types of beautiful things that come easy to me. Just to be quite frank with you. My two boys, I'm not a third boy, and my daughter, taking them fishing. We have our elders that we always have to think about and make sure that they're always comfortable and always invited and always feel to be a part of it, because they are our keepers of knowledge. And it's always good to pick their brains whenever possible. And it's always helpful to get their guidance and wisdom on a lot of things. And teaching the way. So the one thing that I can always say is my kids have reluctantly, I'll drag them out all the time. Ever since they've been kids, they know that they know that they're coming. They're gonna get in a picture with a deer. They're gonna eat some deer. They're gonna do something. I was able to bring my nephews out, and I always try to teach whenever and invite people whenever I can. I'd like to just give a couple personal acknowledgments to my son here. I don't mean to throw this on everybody, but I'm very proud of my son who just graduated this year from UMass. I have to put the sign up here so I can read the degree he got, but it's biochemistry and molecular biology. He's actually done a couple of internships over the summer out in Salt Lake City, as well as down in Santa Fe or Phoenix, somewhere down there. Yeah, and just working on health-related issues, and we eagerly await the results of the test for medical school, which should be coming out this month. He studied very hard for that, and it deserves to be recognized. And then I'd also like to bring up my daughter, who is graduating this year. She's got accepted into all the colleges that she's applied for, and my pocket's not going to she works, I'm just proud of my kids, and I just wanted to share that with you. This last page here, I just have a little bit of contact info for the Nolumbeka Cultural Hunter Fish Club, and last but not least, I do have to say to the one who supports me and allows me, she's been a real rock, as my wife will say. She said she's a great mother, she's a great wife, and she does a lot for me and allows me to be able to do what I need to do. And I appreciate that. Love you, honey. And that's it. Thank you. I hope
As you can see, he's got a lot of energy, a lot of projects, a lot of plans, and we're really looking forward to more work together with the whole family, I do hope. But I'm so pleased that Liz Santana Kaiser has been working with us for so long, and Ite is completely ready to continue that. So I'm thrilled. Thank you so much for sharing everything that you did. and that you're doing, and all the best. Let's say all the best luck. It's more than luck. It's going to be skill and perseverance that you're showing, and I'm just really honored to be able to call you a friend. And I'm really hoping that everybody here will join me in thanking Ite for everything he's been doing, along with his mom. So thank you. So we're going to take a quick pause while the Wampanoag Nation singers and dancers are preparing, and then we will start the social dance. All right, very good. So as soon as Hartman gives us a sign as to what he would like to do next, we'll begin.
All right. So, yeah, we're Wampanoag Nation citizens, dancers, and, oh, there we go. This one? Already tall. Yeah, great to be out here. We got the snow for the Snowmoon Social. That's a good thing. You know, we've got to be thankful for all these different seasons and cycles.
Every cycle of the moon has some gift that gives us an abundance that we should be thankful for. And the snow is important. It's important to maintain this balance that we have in this world. Without the snow coming, we'd have a whole lot more ticks. The snow covers the earth. It seeps that water that we were talking about last night into that watershed nice and slow sometimes. When the rain hits, it just runs right through the soil. It sits on top of it, melts little by little. That's important. It's important for all sorts of different reasons. So we're thankful for it. We're thankful for these cycles. And and here we are. What are we going to do? A round dance next. And I think there's at least some of y'all familiar with it. But for those of you who aren't, if you can step to the left and you can step to the right, we're going to do this dance. We are going to join hands in a big circle, maybe 2 circles, because there's a lot of us here. And that literally forms a bond between us all. And we've always talked about these things. We're scientific people, even though a lot of times we don't get recognized as such. But we're going to create a circuit of energy. And Western science backs this up. We'll actually form an electric circuit by joining hands. And that will create this cycle of good energy where we share that in between us. And it happens all the time. When you actually physically join hands, you can feel it a little bit more. And it's important. It's important to acknowledge that we're all equal. There's no beginning, there's no end. There's no front, there's no back. We're all just in this circle together. And that's important. Nobody's above one another, nobody's below one another. We're all the same. So that's a part of it. We look at the circle and the power of that. We look at the things in creation, whether it's the earth itself, or the sun, or the moon, or the stars. But then we look down as well, we can see our eyes, our faces, the rings of a tree, the clouds, raindrops, circles and circles and circles, all the way down to little electrons and microns and neutrons, little teeny subatomic particles. Circles and circles and circles. So, we honor that as the shape of creation. And we invite you all to come on up. If we can get a decent sized ring around us, that'd be great. If we have too many people, we'll form 2 rings. If we have 2 rings, they'll move in alternating directions. But we'll have a slow, straight beat, and when you hear that, you should be standing still. With 1 foot going in and out, like the hocus pocus. And then the beat will go faster. And at that point, if we have 2 circles, we got 1 circle or 2 circles? Okay, 2 circles. So we're going to have an inside circle and an outside circle. So at the point when the beat is moving faster, you're going to be either stepping to the left or stepping to the right. And you should be moving in an opposite direction from the other circle. So if the outside circle is moving clockwise, the inside circle should be moving counterclockwise. If the inside circle is moving counterclockwise, the outside circle should be moving clockwise. So we'll let the inside circle set the pace and make their decision of whether they want to go to the left or to the right. And then the outside circle will simply follow suit. So you start off with that foot in and out like the hokey pokey. The beat picks up, and then you're going to step to the side. And at the end, we'll all come to the center and let out a big joyous yell. All right. I think we're ready. Let's all.
Trying to move everybody. That was incredible. Lots of good energy in this room today. Okay. Knowing nothing about science, but knowing everything about traditional ecological knowledge.
Yeah, all right. So appreciate everybody coming out and helping to make that happen. Wouldn't be the same without y'all. So you know, it takes us all, and we're all a part of this, right? We're all in this together. As much as they act like we're all these separate different things, they try to break us down into this and that and pit us against one another. The fact matters that we're all here on Spaceship Earth together. What we do to it, we do to ourselves. And we can't escape that. What we tolerate for others, we tolerate for ourselves. You know, and that's kind of the part of the problems that we're looking at in the world right now, is we've forgotten that. Yeah, together we're Wampanoag Nation singers and dancers, like I said, but we're also each of us individuals that come together to make up the whole. So we're going to run some introductions, and I guess we're going to start with our eldest of elders.
My name is Carol Hendricks-Mann. I am Mashpee Wampanoag. I am an elder. I have 4 children, 3.5 grandchildren. July 12th, right after Colorado. And then I am one of 7 grandmothers in Mashpee, the Mashpee Wampanoag tribe. I am from the Otter clan. I worked in many museums and stuff, but I always have to do something that has to do with my culture. And, you know, trying to do things to promote Mashpee and to keep on continuing our Mashpee culture. That's where you're going to find me and my sister, my friends right here. So thank you for letting us be here. We appreciate it. Thank you.
I guess I'll go next because I'm not the eldest of all the elders. But I am an elder. Natuswis Nedamita Kakiti Hendricks. Nutamas Mississippi, the time Mississippi. I'm called Kitty Hendricks. My spirit name is Nedamita, and proud to be a Mashpee Wampanoag. And I also am very, very blessed to actually live in Mashpee, in my homeland. It's taken me a few years. I've lived in Falmouth, I've lived in East Falmouth, I've lived in North White, but I'm finally back in Mashpee. So happy to be there, and thank you, and then also happy to do the work that I do. Also blessed to be able to work with our youth, and that's why I say hats off to all this beautiful work that's being done here. You know, passing on what we know and what our children need to know and our youth need to know in order to save what we have left of this earth. So I'm the Indian Education Coordinator for the Wampanoag Tribe, and I do cultural programming, professional development workshops, all that good stuff. Love to cook, do cooking demos, love to pass on the recipes of our people, and love singing and dancing. So thank you so much, Nolumbeka and these organizations here that brought us here today, and I'm looking forward to doing more dancing with you guys.
Sorry, we're just working out age order. Wanikisa Nataswis Kisa Guiam, Nu Tomas Masipiat Ka Natai Masipiat. Hello everyone, my name is Siobhan, my given name is Growing Elm. I'm Mashpee Wampanoag and I live in Mashpee. I'm a proud Black and Wampanoag woman. I'm an educator and a storyteller and a lifelong learner. I'm grateful to be a part of the Wampanoag Nation Singers and Dancers for a few years now. I am a theater maker that was voluntold to be a part of a special project several years ago called We Are the Land. It was sort of a commission to celebrate, something colonizers did a long time ago. But we have taken We Are the Land on for ourselves. We wrote the play, and we are now producing the play after performing over in the UK and in Boston. We have a table over here. If you have a little bit of a few rubles you wouldn't mind sending our way, we wouldn't mind that at all. We are fundraising to put the play up again in Hyannis, on our homelands, closer to home, and maybe again in the fall. So producing a play takes a lot of many hands. So we hope to be able to support everyone in a good way to tell our story. Thank you for having us here. Thank you for all of the work that you are doing, particularly with young people around land and language. It's very, very important. Niwachi As Nataya Nine, we still live here. So we always have to remind ourselves, each other, and the world around us that we're still here, no matter how crazy it gets. So, tapatano.
Winikisa, Nataswis Hartman, Nutmas Masipia, in Masipi Wampanoag. Yeah, my name is Hartman. I'm from Mashpee. I'm Mashpee Wampanoag. And as we talked about last night, that Nutamas means literally my blood and bones are of this place. And you know, that's for me, that's Mashpee. I can walk around and walk on dirt paths where I know that the soil's been packed by thousands of years of my ancestors going back and forth from the pond down to the bay, and that's something pretty special, to be able to have that in that place, and to be in those places, and to be able to stand in those places. A lot of people in this world are not necessarily able to do that. They've been pushed around this way or that, out of the places that they've always been from, as we see it's still happening now in this world. And that's definitely not how we need to behave. You don't go into somebody else's house and tell them to get out. That's not anything that anybody would accept for themselves, and they shouldn't expect it of others. But I also do work with Charles River Watershed Association, in addition to singing with mom singers and dancers. I work with the Global Alliance for the Rights of Nature. I write with Culture Survival magazine. We do a number of museum projects in different places around, and just do a lot of work under the general umbrella of cultural arts and education, Wampanoag cultural arts and education. So, it's what's important to me. As I was speaking last night, these cultural values are part of what drive my work in the world of the environmental activism, because I've always been taught that we have to care for the earth as a living being, as our mother, as the one that takes care of us, that provides everything we need. And literally it does. What do we know from outside the earth? Very, very little that we've actually touched with our own hands. Very few of us have managed to make that escape. Certainly nobody I know. Anybody know any astronauts? I don't know. I know they exist, but I don't know them. Together we come together. We do our songs and dances from however long back that have come down through us, and we help to keep these songs and dances alive by singing them and dancing them, breathing that life into them, and you all help by standing up and joining us and doing them. A lot of these dances like that round dance we just did couldn't be possible without your help. If it was just the four of us up there, we wouldn't even have enough people to sing and dance in the circle. So it requires your help, so thanks for participating. I guess we're going to jump into, we're going to jump into a song and a dance from down south. We sing Eastern Woodlands songs, so most everything that's east of the Mississippi will be included in that. And there's a lot of exchange that happens east of the Mississippi culturally, and these songs are a part of that. And this one comes from down south, and we made it all the way up here. And it's been around, shared for a long time, and it's called the alligator dance. So we don't have any alligators here, right? And yet we have the alligator dance. So it shows that song has traveled and moved and grown legs of its own. And it's made its way up here. I think it's because it's a lot of fun to do. It is a lot of fun. It's one of my favorites. I know when I was a kid, teenager, going out to parties, you'd go and you'd have that song that you came home singing from the end of the night, that really high point of the party, and I feel like this may have been one of those songs and how it got so far from home. But yeah, it's, we'll have a little example. Carol and Vine will show us. We have 2 legs, an alligator has 4, so they have to join together to become a unit, and there they are. But they're going to move forward. As they move forward, you see they're going to move their hands in a rowing kind of motion as well. Because there are a lot of our stories, a lot of our songs, a lot of our dances have a double meaning. And the double meaning in this is you also are passengers in the canoe out on the alligator's territory. And then suddenly we'll see a spin when I hold a long note. Sky-away-ho, ya-dee-wee-oh, ya-dee. Sky-away-ho, ya-dee-wee-oh, ya-dee. Sky-away-ho, ya-dee-wee-oh, ya-dee-wee-oh, ya-dee-wee-oh. Now that spin can represent 2 things as well. So that spin can represent, we learn from the alligator, the true eldest of elders, not Carol. She's going to beat me up. I better shape up. I better shape up. Yeah, we learn from them as strong and agile and powerful hunters. And what do they do when they grab onto their prey? They roll, right? They roll that prey into the water, and that's how they function. But just as there's that double meaning where you're also supposed to represent being out on the canoe, what do you do if that log float next to you suddenly grows teeth and tries to snatch up your partner? You might pull that partner and spit him out of that alligator's mouth, pull him to safety, right? So it can represent that as well. So as we move forward, we also have not just a spin, but if you don't come up and get involved, we're going to count on your help too. This is call and response. So we're going to go yo-ho and you say way-ha. Yo-ho, yeah, we-oh, yeah, we-oh, yeah, we-oh. Yo-ho, way-ha, yo-ho, way-ha, yo-ho, way-ha, yo-ho, way-ha, yo, so that's the dance. So grab a partner, come on up, it's fun. I guarantee you're going to have fun. Yeah. So as all of our dances, as almost all of our dances are done, this is going to be done in a big circle form. And yeah, looks like you guys are getting it together. And I think that we maybe have it together enough. I'm just going to get going. Yeah, all right. So, we're going to do another partners dance. This one's kind of done in place, and it's to honor my little teeny little beings. By show of hands, how many of you all love the mosquito? Got one. There's usually one. Anyway, all these beings, they're all our relatives, and they all have a place in this world. And and some of them we may not necessarily want to hang around so much, but they still have to have their place here, right? And so we honor all these beings. We honor even the mosquito. And the mosquito, we honor them with this song, we honor them with this dance, and this is done to make this offering to the mosquito, because as we understand it, there's always got to be a give and take, right? There's got to be a reciprocity. So we have to give this to the mosquito, and the hopes is if we give this to the mosquito, then it's not going to take our blood, right? So they say if you do this dance successfully, you're not going to get bit by a mosquito. You'll face your partner. You join the pinkies to represent that little biting nose. And as you face your partner, you'll use your left foot to kick to the right, your right foot to kick to the left. And then at some point, they're going to incorporate a spin into it. As the beat goes to a half beat, they'll incorporate a spin. And then after that half beat goes back to a full beat, then they'll stay in the same place. And that's the dance. I don't know if it is, but it's pretty simple. It's kind of simple. So they say every time you get kicked by your partner, you can get bit by a mosquito. But if you don't manage to kick your partner, you're going to be fine. So come on out. Give this dance to these mosquitoes, and that way you don't have to give your blood. Grab some hibiscus tea or some of the apple juice or some of the other snacks and stuff they got over there. Get yourself a little bit of refreshments and replenish, and come back ready for some more dancing in maybe about 15 or 20 minutes. Gonna get started here again. I think we're going to have Johnny share a prayer for every town. Okay. And then after the prayer for every time, we'll have a few more songs and dances for you all.
Okay, thank you all so much for having us today. If we could take a moment to quiet the room, that would help us to offer up our prayer. So, as was explained before, our language was silenced for over 100 years. It was illegal to speak Wampanoag on Wampanoag land, so we're very grateful to have our language back again. There have been many different efforts to reclaim it and to speak it whenever we can. So if you join me in just taking a big deep breath in and then out. Just feel your feet on the floor, another big deep breath in.
Feeling like you're not the professional to do it.
And out. Mana tika ni kona hachi. Nakwatayana manamu wachiwami kiakusanish. Katapatotama wanamu wachi kisak. Katapatanamu wachi anakosak. Katapatanamu wachi sipuash. Katapatanamu wachi katahanash. Katapatanamu wachi ahki. Katapatanamu wachi wami awa asak. Katapatanamu wachi wami natonhosak. Ananama ania namanat wipi wanikak. Ananama ania nasinat wipi sonpwak. Home. Creator and ancestors, we thank you for all things. We honor you and thank you for allowing us to be here. We thank you for the sky. We thank you for the stars. We thank you for the land. We thank you for the oceans. We thank you for the rivers. We thank you for all living beings. And we thank you for all our relations. Help us to see only what is good. Help us to do only what is right. And when you are in agreement with what has been said, you say, Anach. Taptash.
Okay, I think with that, we're going to jump into some more singing and dancing. I think we're going to get some folks, we're looking for people to get up on your feet again, similar to how we did the alligator dance. This is going to be done in a big circle. Show of hands. How many of you folks played duck, duck, goose as a kid? All right, so this is kind of similar to duck, duck, goose, and actually it's called the duck dance. And we traditionally would rely on ducks quite a lot for food, you know, to take their lives, and we would eat them. And we, you know, there's that balance I've been talking about. We have to have some kind of reciprocity. And that we depend on their lives so much to nourish our own lives and help our own lives continue. We want to have something to give back to those animals that we take so much from. So we honor them with this song and this dance. And it's a song and a dance that represents the hunt. It requires two parts. It requires the hunters and it requires the ducks. So traditionally the ladies would play the part of the ducks and the guys would play the part of the hunters. And the hunters would go shoulder to shoulder out into the swamps, into the grassy swamps. And they would throw a net up between them. And then they'd hope to catch some of them ducks as they came flying up off the edge of the water. Now, the ducks, for their part, as the hunters came into the marsh, they would be backed up. They would be pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. And they'll go backwards. So you'll see the ducks start off, if you can get a little example there, going backwards. And then suddenly it gets to a point where they can't back up anymore, and they start to fly, and you'll hear the flutter of their wings as it beats against the water, you'll hear that beat change. And all of a sudden it'll stop, and the nets will drop, and some hunters will have a duck, and some hunters won't. Some ducks will be dinner, and some ducks won't. Of course, all life has its purpose and all these interactions happen, but, no duck wants to be dinner. And no hunter wants to go home empty-handed. So, that puts the hunter and the duck at odds with each other. So, of course, if you're playing the part of the duck, your object is to not get caught. And if you're playing the part of the hunter, you don't want to come home empty-handed. You want to come home with dinner. So that's how this song and this game and this stuff is done. So, like I said, you got the straight beat, the ducks go backwards, hunters go forward. You got the fluttering beat, and the hunters throw their nets up and the ducks fly forward. With that, if you're a hunter, if you've got a duck, you celebrate through the next verse with a victory dance and your duck in the net. If you don't have a duck in your net, well, you got to kind of hang your shoulders and come and be a little bit disappointed. Hunters, just like in real life, you're going to have more success if you spread out. So that's about it. And I think with that, we're probably just going to get going with singing. Do we have?
A whole lot of ducks out there.
Anybody else? I'll partner up with one of these others.
Yeah, it's a lot more fun and more hunting. Victory dance when you catch duck. Here we go. Yahweh. the event do to pay respect to the, it's actually a dance closest to ceremony that will ever be shown or in the public. It's done in the community. What happens is the men try to shape their bodies into the shape of a pipe. And the pipe is very important during the ceremony because you join the pipe together. You have a male and you have a stem. You have a female, you have a male joins together to create. So you're creating good thoughts and prayers from all the people that are participating in this ceremony. And the men do the ceremony because they take life. The women are the life givers, the men are the life takers, so they take life. And when they do their ceremony, all of the what should be taken and the smoke that carries their good thoughts and intentions up to the Creator. So that's what you're going to see with the fan. The fan's helping to fan the smoke up to the Creator, and they're going to try to make their body in the shape of it to honor that being. So far we have partnered. If anybody wants, any of the men that know this dance, please feel free. This is a way that we share, and it's also a way that the young people learn as well. Q&A. Does anybody want to maybe ask a question or comment, anything you'd like to share? And we can share information right now. So please don't be shy. We're in the circle together. So if there's any Q&A, questions, please pull the snow.
I have a question. You mentioned I wanted to know where. You mentioned the play via the land. I actually saw it when I came to the premiere in Boston, and I wanted to know where it's going to play again next in this general area.
Sure, thank you for asking. We are going to do it again in Hyannis at the Tilden Arts Center at Cape Cod Community College. And it will be on April 30th and May 1st.
Fantastic, thank you.
Yes. We do have cards over there with QR codes that link you to our website where all of the materials are. Thank you.
The callback, is that, what was the significance of the callback? Is it like a stop dance? Like, was there any significance to that? I'm just questioning, I just kind of wanted a little more information on the callback. Was there any significance to that dance? What is the significance of that dance? I thought I heard.
So when we entered with the stop dance, and we're going to exit with the stop dance in a few minutes. We'll give a full explanation of all that, but call and response, I think it's just one of these, it's a musical element, but it also does a lot to sort of bring the whole group together and focus the energy all as one. You've got a single call and a group response. Also, when you're traveling through these woods, you get all these voices together. It can help to announce your presence, that you know you're not a threat, not in kind of danger. So if you're coming through the area, you're singing these traveling songs. A lot of these traveling songs have call and response. To announce your presence. Sort of like when you come to somebody's home, you ring the doorbell. As we would come through the woods, you might start singing a song as you approach somebody else's community, somebody else's village. That way they know you're not trying to sneak up on them. You're here to come and share with good intentions and good vibes, and to share in songs and dance and feasting and food and stories and all these other things. So you approach the song, to announce your presence, and a lot of times call and response is a great way to do that. So it gives you an indication, as well. Oh, sounds like we got 10 people coming. Oh, sounds like you got 15 people coming. Better throw another bird on that fire, So that's sort of as well a part of the functional aspects of that. Yeah. Do we have any more questions? Or all right. Well, yeah. Oh, we got one over there. We'll get another question, and then we'll get more explanations.
Hi there, thank you very much for sharing. It's been really, really great to be part of. And I was interested in coming today partly because I've been to some powwows before, but it was very much, I think, in a Western tradition with a big drum with some guys around it. And I wanted to see more of what's the Northeastern Indian, whatever, tradition. And at other powwows I've been at, there's a very strong division between sort of male roles and female roles in playing the drum and singing. And it feels different here today, and I was wondering if you could speak to that a bit. Is that a choice you've made, or is that more the tradition?
These are social songs and dances. Because when you get together, we all know we like to eat, we feast. Singing and dancing brings you joy. It's inclusive. And these songs are meant to be shared. And that's why they're done very easily learn through vocables, like we sing, la 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 la. Well, these songs are vocables, they're not in any certain language. So they're easy, they catch on easily. So that's the big difference. So, like you said, the powwow drum is a Western style of drum, but we've adapted that as well into our powwow. So it's a different gathering altogether, but this is a gathering just like today. It's for social. It's for being social together.
Yeah, and among the West, there is, and there's not. It's not to say that there aren't things that are a gender division here. There are. So that's something that's part of our culture as well, but it doesn't appear in the music. There's a sense that. I know because I sang on one of these powwow drums for a long time. There's a sense of you know, the men and what they have to give to that drum, and part of the sacrifices they make is to make offerings such as tobacco, to give that offering that's a part of exchange of energies in life, and women who are in our culture as well seen as the life givers, and men are seen as the life takers. There's in amongst the Western tradition, there's a power that's seen in the women that's seen as something that can be potentially overwhelming of you know, the men. So there's tiers that you see where you have the grandfather drum in the center, and then you have the men singers, and then oftentimes, if you notice, when you go to these powwows, and you'll see that there'll be a ring of women around the outside, and you'll have the lead singer, the individual singer, and then you'll have the second, where all the chorus of male voices come in, and then you'll have the third, where the women singers come in behind that and bring to the highest tones of the singing. And it is you know, about part of their worldview and their understanding of the order of the universe, and what roles and balances we play. But you know, as far as here in the East, we have a different understanding of those divisions and what energies and how those energies work. So yeah, for us, there is no taboo about women interacting with tobacco. With us, there's not a taboo about women interacting with the drum. Those things are, you know, taboo in other cultures. The Creator's work is to create things of beauty, and that we've been endowed with this ability to create things as well. And so what is our job? What is our purpose here in this world? To create a more beautiful world, right? That's our job. That's why we're here. That's our purpose. And to fulfill that purpose, you know, sometimes we might make beautiful things with our hands, or, you know, that we have voices and we create song to sing. Is that something we can create a beauty with our voices? Or we can create something with our bodies, something beautiful by dance. And so we know that that's a great gift to be able to do, and it brings us joy in our hearts, and it helps to express joy to those around us and creates those things of beauty. But we also understand that not everybody is necessarily blessed with that ability to dance. We know that there's old folks with brittle bones, and there's young little babies with rubbery legs, and there's some folks who may have legs that never work at all. You know, and so we make sure to dance for them as well, because we want to create those things of beauty for everybody. We know that you know, there's things that can't dance that are out there in the world. You know, how does a slug dance? You know, so we dance for them. We dance for the clams. You know, we dance for all these beings that may not necessarily be able to dance. And we dance for them because they're our relatives, and we want to create something beautiful for them as well. We dance for literally all of our relatives, all of our relatives. We dance for the trees, the maple trees, the pines, the oaks. We dance for the medicine plant like the sweet fern or the Indian pipe. We dance for them because they're our relatives too. You know, we look back and we say that we're all related. It's the truth. We go back far enough, we all descend from some point when the ocean produced some cyanobacteria millions and millions of years ago. We all descend from that, whether we are the birch tree or the buffalo or ourselves as human beings. We all come from that same source of life. So we truly are all related. You know, in fact, not just in some kind of hyperbolic sense. So we dance for all our relatives. And we dance for those relatives that even Western science may not acknowledge. We dance for the stones and grandfather stones as well. We know that they have wisdom. They've seen so much more than us. We dance for them. You know, we dance for the earth itself. So we dance for the rivers. We dance for all those things. And so this is our last dance, and we encourage you to come out and join us. How many of you all have played Follow the Leader? All right, well, then you know how to do this dance. You just do what the person in front of you does. You line up and you do it. And it's easy. As said before, it's about getting everybody involved, and we're looking to you to help. So come on out. We can't do it without you.
surprised at how well this is healing. This was only done Wednesday, and I'm like at 75 meters. So I'm thinking that I took off 2 weeks of work